Fighty Radio.
Hello there and welcome. We are back. This is 5RoundMMA. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside me, my co-host Albert Cita and Guillermo Cita. After a little mini summer vacation, we are back.
I wouldn't even call it vacation because, man, I'm exhausted.
Exhausted?
It's just busy.
We need a vacation from our vacation.
I know. We had a little 2-week break here in between, a little end of summer celebration for us because it's kind of slow time in the world of MMA, but we are now back to swinging things in the fall. I think it's kind of the most busy season for mixed martial arts, right?
Usually the fall, winter time, that's when we see a
because
lot of cards.
I know October as Cain Velasquez time.
Yeah. I know, so Albert, you were up in Arizona, right, for a little while?
I went to Arizona, saw the Grand Canyon, visited a lot of sightseeing. I went to Daniel Bryan's favorite place to eat. It's a nice little organic spot around the block where from he lives. Was pretty good.
Oh, yeah, the professional wrestler Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, the professional.
And again, I heard you doing a bunch of soccer tournaments yourself.
Yeah, so last week I had a big tournament, and then the week before that I was in Las Vegas, so it's like...
The better question, what'd you do in your 2-week break,
know.
Alex?
I just lounged it. That's all I did. So this week got a ton of stuff. A little bit of a catching up, a little bit of a preview. UFC 191 ahead of time. But let's start with round number 1. The big matchup, I think, where we're gone was title matchup, UFC bantamweight, women's bantamweight title, Ronda Rousey versus Miesha Tate. No. Ronda Rousey versus Holly Holm. So, gentlemen, do you like this matchup between Rousey and Holm?
Not only that, it was pushed up forward.
It was right?
It was announced and then pushed forward.
Yep.
Yes. I like it and I hate it at the same time. I like it because, again, it's a new face. I feel like we already seen Miesha Tate versus Ronda Rousey. I think everybody was expecting Cyborg as well, but I like the other bad thing is if Ronda Rousey does make quick work of Holly Holm, it kind of, and we'll talk about it later about Mighty Mouse, the same thing. It kind of like who is next in this bantamweight women's division, because had Holly Holm they held back, they still had her as a potential matchup for the future.
Yeah, they could build her up a little more, right?
Exactly.
Albert, thoughts on this matchup?
First of all, I love this matchup. If you actually watch your show 2 weeks ago,
I think the one before the break, right?
Yeah, right before the break, I clearly said the best matchup here is against Holly Holmes. Even though I didn't want to watch it because it was just a little bit too early for Holly Holmes, I really did think this was the best matchup for Ronda Rousey. And I'm just
it's a fresh face.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make 2 key points here. One, I think if Ronda Rousey wins, but Holly Holmes still does a pretty good fight. I mean, like, if it shows that Holly Holm at one point could have won the fight, or she even does good, perform well to Ronda Rousey, but Ronda Rousey still wins, I think she retires. Because her whole thing was she wants to leave the belt with somebody that she knows will not only just, keep it the same caliber as she did, but also carry the torch, so to say. And I think if Holly Holmes does a good performance, it's enough for her to say, look, I can walk away from the game. But I also think if Holly Holmes can win, Ronda Rousey doesn't come back.
Why?
Why? Well, yeah,
just because there's so much opportunity out there for her.
But then you wouldn't think she would avenge her loss?
They're throwing around that she might be Miss Marvel. I mean, there's just too much stuff for her to take a quick rematch.
She'll actually make a good Wonder Woman.
No, Miss Marvel is the one that's being thrown around.
It's already cast already.
Yeah.
This is an interesting match. Everybody thought it was going to be Miesha Tate. Holly Holm came out of nowhere. All former professional boxer, like I think over 40 fights, professional boxing wise, 33 wins. Little green in the MMA game. The cool thing about Holly Holm, she's actually admitting, like, you know what? Yeah, I am scared of Ronda Rousey. I'm scared of her stand-up. I'm scared of her grappling. I'm scared of her ground game. I am scared of her.
And one of the things I brought up 2 weeks ago was the pacing.
Yeah.
Everybody, for some reason, thinks that they got to attack.
Guns blazing.
Guns blazing Ronda Rousey to kind of get the one up on her. But what she is known for is her explosiveness, being explosive and really pushing the pace. And if you watch Holly Holm's fight, she kind of dictates the pace and kind of slows it down. Yeah, she would even say, like, maybe I need to engage a little bit more. But no, I think this is the perfect recipe to go up against Ronda Rousey. I think you need to slow her down and actually make her think. I think the more she thinks, the worse it is for her.
The other thing is everybody seems to still question Ronda Rousey's stand-up. I don't know why. And I think now that you bring a boxer in and / kickboxer into the matchup, now maybe you really have to respect Ronda Rousey, especially if she dominates in the stand-up. So
I think a good example is Anderson Silva too about matchups. If you look at Anderson Silva, he does the best when someone pushes the pace or tries to really rush him. But when someone tries to slow it down, whatever, and gets Anderson actually thinking too much, That's when.
So you're giving props to Nick Diaz. That's what it sounds like.
Well, it's true though. If you watch the Nick Diaz fight, that's when he get beat right away.
So is a bigger question now? Are like nobody's really predicting a Holly Holm win, but are we kind of predicting?
I'm predicting it.
I mean,
I'll say it.
Do we just want like a moral victory? Like, well, yeah, I lasted 4 rounds with Ronda, or maybe like I was able to get a decision loss to Ronda Rousey.
I would take a moral victory, but I do.
Kind of like Miesha Tate. Like the whole. If it wasn't me, Miesha Tate this time around. Well, Miesha Tate, I lasted 3 rounds with Ronda Rousey last time.
Yeah,
that's what she's banking her whole.
But
defense.
see, I think Albert's totally wrong. I mean, like it doesn't seem like you're handing it off to Holly Holm, the division. I think if anything, you're doing a disservice. I think if you would have just built up Holly Holm,
who would she face after Holly Holmes if she were to?
But that's the problem. Now after Holly Holm, the only logical one is Miesha Tate and Cyborg. And obviously Cyborg, they weren't confident enough
Cyborg
for her to
matchup,
drop down to 145.
To me, it's ridiculous. How do you chase over someone that has never even fought in the division? I think it would be different if Cyborg would have taken 2 fights here and there.
I totally agree. So they had no
dominated. But because of this whole thing, as a matter of fact, I think it's just all hype. I really do think.
Oh yeah, I'm not mad that Cyborg.
I'm not mad either, but I mean, like I'm saying, had they had more confidence in Cyborg, they would have already booked in. Hey, we're gonna give you 4 months to prepare for Ronda Rousey. They said no, Holly Holm, we'll give you 3 months, 2 months, and you'll be up in for.
Which I still think it's a better.
But it just shows a trust in Holly Holm compared to Cyborg.
Yeah,
I'm counting this as a moral victory. Round 1 is over. Time for round number 2. This is a subject a little close to home. Fabricio Verdum's next opponent has been named as Cain Velasquez. Sorry, I'm a little rusty, guys. Cain Velasquez versus Verdum, number 2. Do you guys like this fight? Do you even want to see this fight happen again?
Yes.
Are you
starting the clock.
as MMA fans or as Cain Velasquez fans?
I would say both.
Separate yourselves.
Okay, I'm really trying to do oil and
water
now. Okay, my heart is because the fan in me wants to see the fight because I do feel Cain was unjust as far as
unjust. What was this?
Because it was all altitude. I really think talent didn't beat talent. I think it was just preparation beat preparation.
Okay.
And it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And as a fan, I want to see it again if the environment wasn't a factor.
Here's my thing.
But let me tell you now, when I'm separating as a fan, the only reason I want to see it as an MMA fighter is because it's the only actual bout out there if you really think about it.
This is the number 1,
we
number 2
were waiting
heavyweight.
for a heavyweight to kind of stand out amongst the rest, and to tell the truth, they're not there. It's really not there.
So German, is this the number 1 heavyweight versus the number 2 heavyweight?
At this point, no. I don't think Cain.
Who would you say is second?
Junior Dos Santos. Say what you want. I think Junior Dos Santos has been on a winning streak. Yeah, he hasn't fought enough guys or been active enough, but so Cain Velasquez has not been either. So that's the thing.
But here's Junior Dos Santos was December of 2014.
I totally agree with you.
The last time we saw Cain was in June of 2015.
But then,
so who's the most current fighter?
But
come on now.
So but you have Cain Velasquez. Right, you have Cain Velasquez with a very, very poor performance, and you have Junior Dos Santos against a very Stipe Miocic was his last really big win.
In December of 2014.
But that was a really big win against an up and rising heavyweight. To me, Stipe Miocic is going to be the king of the heavyweight division at one point. But the only reason why I say Cain Velasquez deserves this shot is because we did not see the true Cain Velasquez. We did not see the Cain Velasquez that beat Junior Dos Santos. We did not see that fast pace,
Okay, so here's my point now. So is the UFC showing favoritism to Cain Velasquez? How many fighters lose like a fight like that? Oh, that wasn't me, man. That was my best one. Give me another shot. That wasn't me, man. That was, you know what I mean? How many fighters would love the opportunity to say, hey, that wasn't me. Give me another shot.
It sucks because I hate when those guys become those Dana White guys, but you have to be honest with yourself. It's true. And the only reason it's true is because Cain Velasquez is Mexican, and I don't think they have captured that Mexican market yet. And the fact that Perez didn't turn out the way we all expected, this is the only card he has dealt, and he has to keep his number 1 Mexican draw.
I do agree that the UFC has invested a lot in Cain Velasquez.
Just look at the Korean Zombie, how big of a push he got. Yeah. And in reality, did he deserve the push? No, but he was a huge Korean star, and it was a big way to get that market.
Yeah.
But back to Cain Velasquez, I mean, like, if you really look at it, he lost to Junior Santos hurt. And when you're fighting a heavyweight, it looks like these guys take a lot of punishment because they're going for the knockout punch. I mean, like, it's not just Cain Velasquez. A lot of these guys get hurt. Junior Santos out for a year. You talk about all these guys and injuries. If we really want to separate injuries in the heavyweight division, people get hurt.
Yeah, Travis Browning, how long was he out with his knee?
And Cain Velasquez was hurt coming into that Verdun fight. He was hurt coming into that JDS fight that he did lose. But we've seen 100% healthy Cain Velasquez. Yes, he does get hurt after the fight once he's 100%. But when we see 100% Cain Velasquez, everybody crowns him like he's the best thing to rock the earth. So, I mean, like...
But you also have to think the risk factor here is the one thing I think people are overlooking. They're trying quick to say that Cain Velasquez kind of got this rematch almost like handed to him. But at the same time, you forget the risk he's taking. I think if he loses Verdun,
he won't get another title shot like ever.
The stock of Cain Velasquez literally
That's a great point. That's a great point, yeah.
Each other. And there is that risk factor. If he loses, he's the bottom of the barrel. He's fighting like literally...
You start from the beginning.
Heard of.
Yeah, you start from the beginning.
Yeah. And there's no way to justify even to give him JDS again.
Yeah.
And you think about everybody that if he loses, all the heavyweights are going to be above him. Stepak Miocic.
Or Arlovsky for crying out loud. If Frank Arlovsky wins, they have a better
even Alistar
argument to get that title shot.
Yep. All these guys will be ahead of him, and he will not see a title.
Yeah, like you said, even Alistar Overeem will have a better case than all.
So a little fun fact before this round's over: since 2011, Cain Velasquez only fought 3 guys. It was Junior Santos, Antonio Silva, and Fabricio Verdun.
But it's not his fault that he gets rematched.
I know, but like it's a JDS Silva, JDS Verdun, and now Verdun again.
But that's not fair.
I know, but that's a little fun fact though. That's kind of funny.
But it also shows you how thin the heavyweight division really is.
But the JDS was a trilogy, and then Bigfoot twice.
Now Verdun twice. It'll be a third time if Velasquez wins. Of course, it'll be Verdun.
The only one I disagree with it is the Bigfoot Silva. If he killed him the first time, I don't know why you deserve a second rematch.
2-time Cain Velasquez.
Round 2's over. Round number 3. What is he? The Russian bear, the white bear, Khabib Nurmagomedov?
Oh no, he's wrestling bears. He's wrestling.
Or the eagle, the eagle. But I think his Twitter's like a bear, isn't it? Something that's kind of weird. The eagle Khabib is coming back. Actually, he's going to be set to return after like a huge long layoff in December against Tony Ferguson. When I heard this matchup, I actually kind of liked it a lot because I'm a big Tony Ferguson fan. I thought this is a good matchup. But then Guillermo Sita made a pretty good point saying that maybe the UFC's kind of sugarcoating things for Khabib. So please explain, sir.
So basically, if you really think about it, I think the UFC is really protecting him of Khabib from his own words. I mean, he has beef with a lot of people.
He's getting fights at other MMA events.
A lot of people call him out.
Yeah, and he calls back out. So I mean, you see Tony Ferguson. I do agree. Tony Ferguson is up and coming, and man, he's been putting on good fights after good fight. Yeah, good performance after good performance.
I mean, he beat current #1 contender Josh Thompson, who made Diaz look ridiculous.
Current #1 contender in Bellator, right?
It's a fact.
Hey, but back to my point is Khabib. Right now, if you really want to say like this guy is the next lightweight contender, you would put him against probably the top 5, right? Mm-hmm. Nate Diaz was at that one point up there. Eddie Alves is somewhere up there. These guys were available for Khabib, and then yet it's Tony Ferguson. So I think it's a legit name for Khabib, and if he beats him, it's gonna be something like Conor McGregor, where it's like we're gonna go down this path, and then once you're ready, we're gonna just elevate you to the championship match, and then you can start everybody that's ever called you out. Now that you have the belt, and we can build this star and this trash talking star, then we can give you the Nate Diaz and get those $1 million buys.
So go back to Khabib's resume. Yeah. His biggest win in his career was against Rafael Dos Anjos. Before he was really Rafael Dos Anjos, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Out of that, Pat Healy, Abel Trujillo, Thiago Tavares, Gleason Tebow. Not really the cream of the crop in the UFC. To your point, currently right now, Tony Ferguson is ranked number 9 in the division. But yeah, like Edson Barboza, Benson Henderson, Michael Johnson, Eddie Alvarez, and then Donald Cerrone, who's number 2, number contender, but then also showed Anthony Pettis number 1. Number 1 ranked right now. So
I totally forgot about Anthony Pettis. Isn't there a beef between Khabib and Anthony Pettis back and forth? Where's that going?
There's a beef. We gotta tell Khabib has a beef with everybody.
But if that fight were to take place, come on, that really establishes who is the number 1 pecking order for the next title opportunity against the winner of Cowboy and Rafael Dos Anjos.
That's kind of funny too. Michael Johnson, who's ranked number 5, actually got Nate paired up with Nate Diaz at number 14. So why wouldn't you put
And also Michael Johnson has the last win against Tony Ferguson, so I think it would have been smart actually to match up Tony and Michael Johnson.
Or obviously Michael Johnson or Khabib, like you said, so he has a top 5 opponent.
And the thing is, Tony Ferguson has a very good winning streak where Albert talks about it all this time. He beats Tony Ferguson. He takes that winning streak with him. Yeah. And now the resume looks good for a title matchup for the winner Dos Anjos and Cerrone.
I can see it. It's just not like a sexy matchup for Khabib, right? Is that what it is? It's not sexy.
That's what I was going to get at. I was like, yeah. In paper, it doesn't look as good, but we still have 2 big quality opponents.
I totally agree.
And then we also have to take into consideration how long Khabib has been off. I mean, say what you want about how dominant, where we should have put him. He's been on so long. You got to remind the people who he is.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Especially if the UFC really likes the guy, right? So they want to showcase him to the best of his abilities.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if what people just saw, which is the beef between him and Nate Diaz fighting at the casino, come on, people are anticipating that.
But those are wolf tickets, bro.
They're wolf tickets, but people will buy those wolf tickets over Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
And not to take anything against Tony Ferguson.
How bigger would it be if Khabib can win, Diaz can win, and then you got yourself
that was my whole point.
Bout.
Yeah. But that was my whole point. It seems like Khabib is being protected into that championship, and then let's build up those wolf tickets for him instead of just saying like, hey, let's throw you into the wolves that we said Max Holloway, poor Max Holloway, got thrown to the wolves. Here.
So you kind of see, okay, let's say Michael Johnson and Diaz goes off, and then Khabib and Ferguson. Khabib wins, Diaz wins, pair them up. The loser, Johnson and Ferguson, they match up again. No,
but then you got Pettis, then you got the winner out of.
You still got Eddie Alves in the mix.
And Eddie Alves, to me, it makes no
Cowboy
sense.
Cerrone.
Yeah, well, he's going to fight for the title, so. But Benson Henderson, Benson Henderson just got booked.
Benson Henderson's still fighting 170.
Yeah, so
I mean, to me, it makes no sense.
I can see it's not a sexy matchup for Khabib.
Exactly. Even the Michael Johnson versus Nate Diaz is not a sexy matchup to me.
Just on paper, I think that's where the turnoff is.
Yeah.
But in reality, we all know that's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Tony Ferguson might even escape with the win.
Yeah, when you say on paper, it's a good fight, but on social media, it's not a very good fight.
Yeah.
That's what people want to see.
We want to see the Anthony Pettis. We want to see the Nate Diaz versus Khabib.
We want to see all the big trash talking because, as we all know, thanks to Conor McGregor and Chael Sonnen, half the battle.
How sexy is Conor McGregor?
That's it.
So that is it, Ron. We're taking a little break right now. Please stick around. We got a lot to talk about. Play Mr. Matchmaker, and also look ahead to UFC 191, Mighty Mouse versus the Magician. So stick around. Welcome back. Now it's time for round number 4, championship rounds. This one we're gonna play a little game I like to call Mr. Matchmaker. It's a oldie but a goodie, I think, right?
Yeah, I like it.
So this one we just name off recent big time matchups, and I asked Albert and Guillermo if they like it, if they hate the match, or don't even care.
If there's a better matchup.
There we go. So first one. Recently announced Benson Henderson versus Thiago Alves. It's going to take place at UFC Fight Night 79 in South Korea. So you guys love it? Hate it? Don't care? What?
I like it. I mean, I think Thiago Alves, I think he needs to get back on the horse, and I think Benson Henderson is a good name that people recognize. And for Benson Henderson, it's a good test, I think, for him to establish himself at this higher weight class. So I think, to me, it's a good matchup. I like it.
Better than a Brandon Thatch? Remember how
I think it's a way better matchup than Brandon Thatch because Benson Henderson, you still have all these question marks at the heavier weight class. So with the win over Thiago Alves, who was at one time fought for the belt.
I don't like you when I have to agree with Guillermo, but I agree with him, and he did bring up some good points. I think it's a good matchup because Thiago Alves was once a contender, and now he finds himself very low in the welterweight rankings now. And I think Benson Henderson is still trying to find himself, but you can't really truly find yourself in what weight class. But I mean, it was an impressive win against Brandon Thatcher, and Brandon Thatcher is a great fighter and all. But to really know that you belong at 170, you need to fight someone like a Thiago Alves, I believe.
Yes.
And then you can see if you should stay at that weight class or move back down to 155. And I don't think a loss really hurts him because he's here testing the waters at 170.
Exactly.
And Thiago Alves, the same thing. You lose against a former champion, but if you get a win, you get a nice contender and you move up a couple.
And that's 2 wins in the welterweight division.
And for Benson Henderson, I think it would be that true test where he does belong at that weight class.
If he should stay.
So I totally agree with that.
We're on agreement. We all like the matchup. So next one, heavyweight bout between Junior Dos Santos versus Alistair Overeem, UFC on Fox 17, December 19th in Orlando, Florida. Isn't don't you go to? Aren't you like a resident of Orlando, Florida? Sometimes
I'm not a resident, but I do go for work often to Orlando.
So Albert, JDS versus Alistair Overeem. This is the for some reason this was the match Overeem was desperately wanted. So he finally got his wish. Do you like it? Did you get your wish in this match?
No, I mean I would be excited maybe 3 years ago, but to tell the truth, I hate this matchup. It doesn't do good for anybody. Let's say Junior Santos wins. So what? Does that tell me that you need to be in the top 5? No, because Alistair Overeem is currently in a rough streak. If Alistair Overeem wins against JDS, then what? He has a lot of people he has to avenge a loss before we can say he's a true contender. Let's keep it real. I mean, he even has to be Travis Brownie for crying out loud if you want to make the argument. So I think it's a bad matchup because it's a lose-lose situation.
And I hate agreeing with this guy, but I was excited for this fight 3 years ago when it was first announced and this, beef was going on.
Yeah.
To me, it's like cancellation after cancellation. So, I'm not excited this third time around. It might not even happen, to be honest, after what I experienced in the past. So, again, it's a lose-lose situation because if Alistair Overeem does win, he has really bad losses. He has to avenge Bigfoot Silva for crying out loud. So
it's all this thing. It's just kind of like it's kind of weird how JDS is like 31 years old and former champion, and we kind of see him as almost like past his prime now.
No. If JDS wins, I still think he's still entitled contention.
Yeah,
but I don't think for him.
I don't think it's enough to give him the argument.
It's funny because they're announcing this Frank Mir versus Arlovsky fight as if it was like the number one contender, and then you have Frank. I mean,
it's like we're back in 2004, isn't it? Mir versus Arlovsky. Title implication was it 2004? And you UFC 62? Is this what it is?
We were just watching Arlovsky on it was 10 years ago. That was in 2005.
Yeah, when Dana White still wore suits to the events
and had hair too. So interesting matchup. I mean, I'm kind of offensive about it too. It seems okay, but I don't know if I like it or not. So next one, Uriah Hall is actually stepping to the plate, filling in last minute to face Gegard Mousasi UFC Fight Night 75 on September in Japan. Guillermo, is this a right move for Uriah Hall?
For Uriah Hall, yes. For Gegard Mousasi, I think it's actually a step down because I mean, like we were used to. Gegard Mousasi has a bad luck because he always gets into these bad cards or where like fight passes where people aren't really watching or bad time zones and things like that. And I think he fought like really, really high contenders. You're talking about Dan Henderson, Lyoto Machida, high caliber guys, and then all of a sudden Uriah Hall, who is a very big disappointment or a bust if you must.
Still trying to prove himself. Isn't
he? If you compare it to like the NFL draft, NBA, he's a bust because everybody proclaimed him like this up and coming like guy that was going to transform the MMA forever, and he hasn't lived up to the hype. So I think it's a bad move for Mousasi, good move for Uriah Hall. Overall, I don't like the fight.
Albert,
I like it, just because I think Uriah Hall has been all over the board, and I think finally, even though he's coming off a loss and a win, even though I think it shouldn't have been a loss. I think he's finally finding himself as a fighter. His last fight, he looked very comfortable. A couple fights before that, he looked comfortable. And my whole thing is he needs to step up. We need to find out where he lies.
He's taking punches after the bell, man.
Yeah, no, I guess keep going.
Cut him off.
We'll still got one more fight to talk about, too.
I like it. Because if Gegard Mousasi wins, he's relevant. If he loses, I'm the biggest Mousasi fan, but guess what, bro? You're going to have to step down.
All right, overtime. Last one, Mendes versus Edgar. Love it, hate it.
I love it. Finally, we get a matchup we want. We've been wanting this fight forever because it actually two wrestlers and whose wrestling is better.
Yeah.
And these guys have been on the top of the top 3, top 4 of the featherweight division. And I think finally it clears the path for one of them to get the fight.
I 100% love it.
Yep.
Mendes wins. He justifies another title shot against Conor McGregor. Frank Yeager wins. Guess what? All them haters like me get proven wrong, and he gets his title shot again. But no matter who loses, I think we establish a title eliminator, and we can stop talking about either or.
Exactly. All right, I like it. Round 4 is over. Time for round number 5, the final round. UFC 191 is just around the corner. John Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse Johnson versus John the Magician Dodson, which is a horrible nickname. Main event.
Don't hate on magic.
It's gonna be the main event for the card. It's a rematch of the 2 bouts. I guess whenever Mighty Mouse is on a card, the biggest question that comes around is this guy marketable? Is he sellable?
If you really want to market this,
actually, you guys the same question.
If you want to market Mighty Mouse, you make him lose. You make John Dodson win, and then
You make him lose.
and you bring excitement back into this this weight class.
You throw a chair in there, maybe some tables, ladders.
And John Dodson, to give him credit, I mean, like, he rocked Mighty Mouse last time a couple times, so he's capable of. But after John Dodson, there's nothing.
I think if John Dodson would have hanged in there, he would have won the fight. But he kind of took like I don't know if it was an adrenaline dump or.
It did look like an adrenaline dump.
He just didn't have it in him in those later rounds, but he looked like the favorite.
Yeah.
When they
well, it's not kind of bugged me that this fight is being sold that hey, last time they fought, John Dodson landed a punch. Yeah. He landed a punch, guys. So who knows this time he might land 2 punches on him.
To say he's marketable, the answer is no. It's plain and easy. And this is not to brag on the flyweight. I love the flyweight division.
So I think
it's one of the most exciting divisions.
We should be clear that
not marketable.
Marketability and talent are two different things.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we're all in agreement that Mighty Mouse is probably the pound for pound best fighter in the world right now, right?
1 or 2.
But is he a star? Is he sellable?
No.
I don't know.
You can't sell
and yet, he has Xbox.
And he has one of the coolest sponsors, which is Xbox, and I think you can do a lot with that. And the UFC just doesn't capitalize on it. I don't know if it's his manager that doesn't capitalize on it, but I do feel that the star power is not there. To tell the people, I can't defend this UFC, this one card against the regular fans out there. I can't tell them buy it because it's not really sellable.
Yeah, I think everybody misinterprets a lot of Mighty Mouse because everybody says he fights boring.
No.
He is not boring.
No. Fights are exciting.
Those are the comments Mighty Mouse gets in press conferences. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with a lot of the interviews. And he gets mad when they ask him that. That's not the issue. To me, he's very, very exciting. The problem is outside the cage. Is he marketable? Which is no. It's just his personality, his way of being. I mean,
it's almost like
he's quiet.
You have the platform. I told you, he has the sponsorship. He has the fighting capabilities. They just don't do it.
He reminds me a lot of the Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter gave the most consistent.
That's true.
This is how the by the book answers everything.
But you were still able to market.
But that's the thing. But the thing, interview wise, listen, go find a Derek Jeter interview. Completely boring. My coaches do that.
You know what I put this is like Granky. I think Granky should be like.
I guess
Zach Greinke.
Because Derek Jeter was good looking.
I think Granky should be out there. We should be seeing him in everything. Granky, the way he performs, especially this year. But listen, but he's not a marketable player. Granky's not a marketable player. People don't buy Granky jerseys; they buy Puig jerseys.
This goes for you. No, better example: Mike Trout for the Anaheim Angels or LA Angels, and Bryce Harper for Washington Nationals. Last time I see Bryce Harper all over ESPN more than I see Mike Trout. But yeah, it's all general consensus that Mike Trout is the best player in baseball.
You go to Subway, who do you see?
Yeah, we're in the SoCal region.
But also Mike Trout, pretty boring guy. You know what I mean? Where Bryce Harper is he's all over the place, angry. You know what I mean?
Outspoken.
Yeah. He has a good point. Mike Trout should be in the LeBron James level when you know it. He, as far as marketability,
he is talent wise, he is, but marketability.
Wait, I'm saying he has the almost exact same career path. At this point, he should be all over the place.
Yeah.
Hey, but there's also to say about Mike Trout that he's a very respectable person or is a good
But can you sell him?
Yeah.
But can you sell him?
And they're trying to sell him.
Yeah.
Same thing with Mighty Mouse. They're trying to sell him. They just can't.
I don't think they're trying to sell him either, though. I think they could try to do a lot better job.
Yeah, but what's making me mad, though, too, I think they're going about the wrong way. Oh, if you're a smart fan, you know all about Mighty Mouse. You can't say that to the general public.
Those are the comments that Mighty Mouse gives. So, I mean,
you can't say, you're trying to sell the broad audience, not just the small percentage who actually know what he's doing.
I'm really confused about Mighty Mouse. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? I mean, is he a face or a heel?
I think now we're watching the slow turn of Mighty Mouse Johnson. You know what I mean?
Because if he decides something, let's go with it.
That's the whole thing about Ronda Rousey. People didn't even really know her record. They didn't know who she faced. The fact that she's out there talking smack, calling out Mayweather.
And it doesn't have to be smack.
And I know it doesn't have to be, but I'm just saying
be face or heel.
Show you, and that's why I think John Bon Jones doesn't get any respect because he doesn't.
He doesn't get respect from you. He's a heel.
That's why John Cena doesn't.
He's a heel. You just don't see it.
John Cena. Either you go full face or go full heel.
I'm looking up Mighty Mouse villains from the cartoon. I got one of them, Oil Can Henry.
But if he's a Mighty Mouse and he's a face, man, he should just go to the whole Mighty Mouse.
John Cena. I would John Cena it up. I love you guys. You guys are the best. And if it wasn't for the fans, I wouldn't be here.
Well, we'll see that because it was supposed to be UFC.
Thank you, Cleveland.
It was supposed to be a UFC 199 preview. We talked the whole time about Mighty Mouse, which is a good thing because Arlovsky versus Mir, Johnson versus Manuel, Pedro Sant versus Alex Chambers on the card against this Saturday, September 5th, MGM Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas, live on pay-per-view. That's it for today. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. I want to give a big, huge thank you to all of our sponsors sponsors with 5 Rounds Clothing Line, who I think are still going on with the giveaway, right?
Yeah, so if it's still
You
going on,
like
you better
us,
go,
you
you better go
like them,
follow
you
Instagram,
comment.
Facebook.
Yep. So and
You
then
gotta comment.
Rock and Green eco-friendly cleaning products and the RMA Foundation. Also, you can catch our show on the FightBookMMA.com under the podcast section, and always visit 5RoundMMA.com. So I want to thank you guys. And Albert, what do you got?
Just thanks everybody for listening.
Oh yeah, the cream of the crop.
You are now listening to Afro Mighty Radio.